What's the worst rejection you faced with your creativity?
Okay. A rejection doesn't have to be somebody physically rejecting, right? Because a rejection can be just something happening that is like the universe rejecting you. Okay. I set out to make my first feature film called The Monster Within. I got a $5,000 credit card. I think I was 22 at the time. I had a company building me a 10-foot tall spider that would be operated by 3 or 4 different people. My dad, he had purchased this dilapidated apartment building downtown, and I had bought all this furniture, and me and my friends carried all this stuff up, furnished a lot of this apartment building. I blocked out all the windows. I was gonna make this monster movie. It was in a really bad part of Cincinnati, Ohio, though. So we went there on site to actually film the movie, and the first issue happened. And on this particular day, it was just, this is interesting because I don't know why I chose one of the most complicated days to start with. We had 3 or 4 different 12 to 14-year-olds who were all dressed up like ghosts and like these goblin kind of looking creatures. My grandmother, my grandma Tony, she was there and was supposed to be a dead person and had a wound on her neck that the makeup artist created as if she'd been choked. And then it was my girlfriend, myself, and my makeup artist and my lead male character that was all going to this building. And the first issue happened. The extension cords couldn't go through the mail slot of the front door for the generator. So in this part of town, it was very unsafe. So we had to keep the front door open. So we turn on this generator. Homeless people start trying to walk into the building. My dad shows up and he's kind of shuffling people out and he's giving people $1 here, $1 there. And suddenly in the middle of, I didn't even shoot one single shot. There's a moment where I had this deep rooted understanding that I had brought all these people into a scenario that I could not control. And it was unsafe. And I would not jeopardize anybody's health to make a film. So I went around the corner from the building, burst into tears by myself, just completely knowing I'm going to cancel this whole movie.
If you are writing a story, you may be interested in our new book, the sponsor of today's video. After months of working on a story, have you ever said to yourself, I don't know what my main character wants. Why are my side characters more interesting than my main character? 17 Steps is a workbook-style tool with specific questions to help you dive deep into your main character and story. We've linked up to 17 steps below. Now, back to the video.
And we had just rehearsed for like 30 days with all these actors. Like I had just rehearsed with a bunch of people I casted in this thing in Cincinnati, Ohio. And I came back, shut the whole thing down because I knew I just didn't have the ability to control the environment. And at some point in the shoot, someone would have gotten injured from a homeless person or any kind of, something was going to happen. And I could feel it in my gut. And you have to follow those moments of intuition where it tells you. Now, at that moment, I fell into a bit of a depression, taught myself how to play guitar, and then eventually made my first feature film called Marked, which was the one where I took a character and had him act with a bunch of actors and it ended up being a 90 to 100-minute movie. But for me, when I made that film, it was, if I don't make it, then I shouldn't be making movies. So there's so much a part of that. But the monster within became a monster within. And I had a $5,000 credit card that I run up that I had to pay off. And yeah, so that's a rejection that the universe threw in my face.
So it was your heart of darkness, basically, or hearts of...
You know, it was a great film school. It was a great sudden moment of understanding the moral side of bringing people together. If you can't control a space, if you can't keep people safe, then you should not be making that particular movie. You know, or maybe you haven't learned enough to be making movies at that level yet.
So you went back in after you went around the corner and you made the decision.
We're closing shop.
We're closing. And what did everyone say?
Everyone's always been so positive in my life. I mean, all of those people, they were probably thankful to go home. I bet you at that particular moment, we were supposed to be filming all throughout the daytime. By the time we got there, it was already getting night because I knew it'd be dangerous at night. So that's why I blacked out all the windows. So it's just one of those situations where there's too much going on. I didn't have control over enough of it. But I still ended up filming some stuff in that building at some point for another movie. But yeah, that was an interesting tale to learn.
And did you blame yourself?
You know, I didn't blame myself. I think more what was to blame was just a lack of understanding of how to build a production. You know, I had made all these tiny movies and I was just trying to do something longer, not even like a feature film. It wasn't in my head that way. It was more of just, I want to entertain my family longer, because every holiday I'd bring my short films to show them and we would watch them and laugh. And that was the only point to me doing it. So at that point, you know, I also had written this script where there was a 10-foot tall spider and all these other, I had bitten off so much, I couldn't believe it. Yeah.
Well, that's a great story.
Yeah.
I mean, I know in the moment it wasn't, but just that it was your sort of introduction to safety on set and biting off more than you could chew, and just circumstances, you know, beyond your control, not knowing the cord wouldn't fit through the slot.
Yeah, I couldn't believe it. It was one of those, I mean, you know, thank goodness though too, because at some point, I bet in the middle of filming, someone would have just taken the generator. They probably would have unplugged it and taken it out of the back of the truck, and we'd just be with no power on the 3rd floor in this falling apart apartment building. So there were so many factors. I just kept thinking to myself, you know, these things could happen. And luckily we pushed away from it though. And it wasn't the first one.